All right, ladies, germs, everyone in between. This is the player bun, not just a player bun, the player bun. Isn't that so cool? So today, this video, I know I usually do like builds and stuff like this. This is just kind of a yapping video. If you want the honest to goodness truth, it's just me kind of trying out something a little different, to be honest with you. So, that's exciting. Or I think it's exciting. What do I know, though, But, I kind of wanted to do something a little different. Just because lately... Oh, Devour, please proc Devour. Okay, thank God. Lately you see a lot of very negative things towards a lot of the stuff that Bungie and Destiny is doing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say that those things are unwarranted by any means. There are a lot of issues with the game that probably really shouldn't be issues, but are because of, like, leadership and stuff like that. But I just want to do something that's a little bit more positive. Because amongst all of that, there has been a lot of, like, cool things that has happened to this game. Like, that no matter what you say, have been a net positive just in a lot of aspects of the game. So, like, for example, like, I know a lot of people don't love or feel like Prismatic has made things a lot easier. And I do agree to an extent. Like, Prismatic does make a lot of activities a lot simpler now, especially with just having the ability to do ability spam and stuff like that. But one thing I do also love about Prismatic is Prismatic I do feel like has also, at least to an extent, there's a few outliers as with everything. There is a lot more skill expression with Prismatic, in my opinion, You have a lot more taking into account, like, build crafting, which I love, stacking the deck, basically. There's a lot more expression in, like, build crafting and, like, DPS scenarios. Like, you know how cool it feels? Like in Vespers, for example. So Vespers, I use a very similar setup to what I am in the Lost Sector footage you're seeing. I say that like I'm not playing at the same time. I didn't use my Nova. What am I doing? Okay. But with a lot of, like in Vespers, for example, like I just use Anarchy Law Signal, and then I basically do like ability spam with Prismatic for DPS on the final boss usually. And you know what? That's just honestly, like, it is so fun. Like I really do wish that there was more like ability-centric builds that weren't so like Unga Bunga hit the same, like, 2 buttons and that's totally it. Like, that's one thing I do really, really enjoy about this build. Like, is it necessarily, like, topping the charts? No, but, it's consistently doing 3 phases, almost 2 phases if I was better at the game. Or, no, it wouldn't almost. It would be 2 phases if I was better at the game. And that's solo. But it's fun. Like, I feel like a lot of, like, the expression in this game feels very fun now. Like, how you do damage, how you do things. Like, I know not everybody probably loves, like, the still hunt rotation, like, on Witness or whatever, when it was still, like, super Pog and P and all that fun stuff. But once again, like, that was just, like, all things considered, a really, really fun damage rotation. Like, get out still hunt, use your still hunt shot, auto-loading or using solar holster, if I could speak. Using solar holster so that your still hunt can have its 6th shot when you come back to it. Using a rocket in the meantime. Like, it made use of, like, mods and stuff like that that you don't normally see. Like, truthfully, when did you ever use a holster before that? Other than, at least in, like, a DPS scenario. Usually it's just tack on all 3 surges and then you're rolling, Like, there's a few cases where that wasn't the case, but, like, very seldom was it not just use your surges properly. Like, I think that's so cool. Like, I really think that's so cool that stuff like that is happening in this game now. And I know that there's a lot of negativity in this game, and I know there's a lot of stuff that, like, sucks about this game. But, like, there's also a lot of just really cool things about the game right now. Like, the way I feel right now, like, don't get me wrong, Prismatic is making this a lot easier. But, like, running through this Lost Sector, having to keep up with more than just, okay, I have my ammo and I'll have my ability in so long. Like, I feel like there's a lot of moving parts to what I'm doing now. Like, okay, I have a transcendence meter. Let's keep that up for this room, that room, and the other. I have to worry about my ammo economy, stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, ammo economy is annoying as crap in this game sometimes, but, like, there's a lot of moving parts now to just generalize gameplay. And does that make things easier? Yes, at the end of the day, the more tools you give to a player, the easier it's just going to make things. But you have to also realize that, like, think of somebody who's just, like, brand new to this game. Somebody who's brand new to this game is not going to have the skill expression that somebody who's played this game for as long as a lot of us have. Which, don't get me wrong, I know some of my audience is newer or more casual players, but I know that there's also some of you out there who are a little bit more invested in this game, kind of like I am. And it's, you know, you have to realize for us, a lot of it was, we very steadily got these tools, so we steadily learned them very quickly. Like, think of somebody who's just jumping into this game, who has now been hit with, you have these transcendence meters, you have two different types of damage, you have light damage, you have dark damage. They're not necessarily labeled in here at all, so that's a whole thing you have to learn. You have to worry about, okay, you have your slots. If you're going to use a kinetic weapon, kinetics will give you both. Will kinetics sound good? Well, yeah, kinetics do sound good. But if you have, for example, a heavy that's cranking out really high light damage, you probably want to have another weapon cranking out really high darkness damage. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot of ways to express that, you know? Do I want to just go on a high debuff route to really pump up those transcendence numbers? Do I want to just, like, pump damage in those two things to do it that way? Do I just want to use damage over time to do it so it's more passive? Do I just want to use a kinetic weapon so I'm not really having to worry about keeping up with those myself and just want the transcendence bar to be a lot more passive on its own? There's a lot you can do. There's a lot of expression. You know, like, I know a lot of people miss, like, D1 and stuff like that. And, like, to an extent I get that, because, like, nostalgia, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, like, think of how little you could really, like, do in that game to, like, feel powerful. Like, I like how powerful you can feel now in this game because of how many things you can do. Like, like, Prismatic. I will gush over Prismatic over and over. And I know a lot of people kind of, again, feel like it made the game too easy. But, goodness gracious, does it invite just a whole slew of things to the game. Like, having the prismatic meter, keeping up with it, getting to use it, and giving a nice little power fantasy in the meantime. Like, yeah, is it a little too much? Who do I know? I don't know. I still enjoy the game, so I don't really care. You know, like, challenge and stuff like that's a whole other discussion. And don't get me wrong, I do firmly believe that there should be a place for challenge in this game. Like, there is no reason that people who play the game to want to be challenged are just as entitled to have fun as those who don't want to have a challenge. Alright? Because you have a lot of people who complain, like, oh, you know, this is too hard, this needs to be more casual, or whatever. And a lot of times they're like, you know, not everything needs to cater to somebody who is like, sweating in the game. I do agree, though, at the same time, that you don't necessarily need to have something that's catered to somebody who's casual in the game, too. Like, that you have to cater to both sides of those coins, I feel like. But, you know, and Destiny does, honestly, a good job at that. Like, it's doing the hardest stuff in this game will give you some of the best stuff in this game. Do not get me wrong. However, it's so minuscule that it's really not that big of a deal. Like, a lot of what you can achieve with a lot of these, like, really strong things, you can achieve, like, just as well, if not to the same extent with a lot of other, like, weapons and stuff like that. And plus, when it comes to just the way that scaling and stuff like that comes in this game, don't get me wrong, weapons make a difference and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the way you build, the way you, like, craft together your deck of cards, you know, we're gonna use the Yu-Gi-Oh reference, I guess. Like, that is what creates the expression in this game. And I love that. I really do love that. I think it's cool. What do I know, though, you know? I don't know. I really wanted to put this video out just because, like I said, you hear a lot of negativity with this game, and I'm not going to say that it's not deserved. I will once again reiterate, this is not me saying that it is not deserved. There is a lot of things in this game that do need to be fixed and are only the way they are because of some kind of corporate greed of some kind. And that sucks. That really does. But at the same time, you do have to take the time every now and again and just be like, you know, it is going to be like this and it is going to suck, but you know, you have to also enjoy what's here. If you don't enjoy what is here, then you know, what's the point, you know? You can't take everything too seriously at the end of the day. If you do, you're never going to have a good time. But anyways, that's kind of the video. Like I said, it's just me doing some yapping, just doing something a little different. Me wanting to be more positive. I think I might kind of try to do this more often. Talk about a lot of the positives of the game. I feel like you just hear too many people complaining about the game, and I mean, truthfully, like, don't get me wrong, are there problems? Yeah, there should not be problems. Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like the game feels really, like, it just feels good to play right now. And I know some people, like, want more out of it and stuff like that, but, and, you know, you'll get your itch at one point. You'll be fine. I promise you will. The game's doing good. I enjoy the way it plays. It's a good time. I really like this game. I really do. And I will say, if you're somebody who hasn't taken a break from this game in a while, take a break. It makes a big difference. Because there for a little bit, I was getting pretty negative about the game myself. But when I took a break for a few months and came back, and honestly, I have felt very refreshed with the game. Like, it's just felt good. Like, a lot of things I've really enjoyed. Like, Vesper's Host. If I was still in the mindset I was before I took my break, I probably wouldn't have played Vespers or done Vespers as much as I have. I've done Vespers a lot. I've just loaded up Vespers just to do it with friends. I have all the roles I want from Vesper. I do not need anything else from Vesper. If I was still in the mindset I kind of was a few months ago, I would probably not play it because I'm like, oh, I don't need anything. But I've really just been playing the game to have fun. And don't get me wrong, the grind is part of the fun. But, you know, you don't always have to grind to just enjoy yourself. Like, there's time that me and my friends just load into, like, private matches. And, you know, nothing on the line, nothing like that. We're just enjoying ourselves. And that's cool. I feel like a lot of people... I feel like you don't see that as much in this game anymore, if that makes sense. It seems like everybody's just more concerned with, like, just going as hard as they can at everything. And it kind of sucks to see, you know? Because this is a good game, and it can be a fun game, and I don't know, you just don't see as many people just having fun. Like, when I play with, like, if I just play with, like, random LFGs or anything like that, like, it always seems like everybody's just trying to, like, efficiently do everything, and it has to be done, and blah, 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 and all this. I mean, every now and again, don't get me wrong, you find somebody who's just trying to have fun, but you don't see that as often, and I would just like to see just more people having fun, man. It's so refreshing just to have fun in this game, and, you know, there's some people who just take it too seriously, and you know, there's a time and place to be a little serious. I get it, you know, harder content or, like, you know, respecting each other's time. You know, if somebody's on and they really need to get something done quickly, I can understand getting a little perturbed whenever somebody's, like, throwing or something like that, you know. Because, you know, you are playing, you are here to have fun, it is just a game, but at the same time, it does feel bad, because it's just human. It feels bad to feel like your time isn't respected. And I get that, like, there is nothing inherently wrong with that, that's very human, you know, like, I get from, like, a very logical standpoint that probably gets on people's nerves, but it's a very human thing. It's a very human thing to not feel like you're being respected and that bothering you. So, you know, it's just part of it, but at the same time, you know, just because that's a very human thing doesn't mean that it shouldn't be a very human thing to just want to have fun too. So, you know. But anyways, I'm done yapping. I know that a second ago it probably sounded like I was done and then I kept on blabbing, but I am actually done from here. So anyways, I appreciate for anybody who watched all the way through. I'm thinking I might do stuff like this more often. Particularly, I kind of want to put out like videos that are more about the positive aspects of Destiny, because like I said, it's gotten so tiring to just see so much negativity all the time. And, you know, like I said, there is a place for it. I'm not saying that it's wrong. Like, a lot of it is warranted, but at the same time, you know, you gotta take your time to be a little positive every now and again, too. Anyways, thank you for watching.